Number 1. Optimal rotation. Personally, I find the best rotation for yellow RK is keeping your rate of lightning up on tier 3, spamming ceaseless argument all the time, but always use Essence of Storm when it's off cooldown, so every 8 seconds. Use Vivid Imagery every time it's off cooldown, every 30 seconds, and use Static Surge every time it procs. So normal rotation would go like this. I get tier 3 and then I spam ceaseless until my other skills come back. Always remember to refresh your Rite of Lightning so it stays on tier 3. We get a Static Surge proc, I use it, Essence of Storm, and just spam ceaseless. And that's pretty much it. I'm getting pretty good results with this. Number 2. Animation Cancel Vivid. Another good tip to speed up your DPS a bit is to animation cancel Vivid Imagery. Right now you can see me cancelling it with my final word. Goes like this. You can start shooting again pretty fast if you cancel the animation. And you can see if you don't animation cancel it, like right now, it's a pretty long animation. So if you animation cancel Vivid, you'll be able to attack sooner again. And also the cooldown will start a bit earlier, like you can see here. And you'll save some time for your DPS, it'll be back sooner. Number 3. Rite of Lightning. Another important thing about RK is keeping your Rite of Lightning up, as it lowers your target's mitigation to lightning. Every tier it's 5% lightning mitigation. They also get some skill induction and attack duration debuff, but the most important for your DPS is keeping the minus 15% lightning mitigation up. This can be achieved by using Rite of Lightning 3 times. You can see here, I use it once, I get tier 1, use it again, get tier 2, and I use it again, I get tier 3. And every time you use it again after, you will refresh it to a tier 3. Unless it goes away, you'll have to build it up again. So typically a rotation for me start would be Writ, Essence, Writ, Ceaseless, Writ, and then Imagery. So I want to hit Imagery with 15% debuff up. So it would go like this. Another good tip, if you want to get instant tier 3 Writ, just simply drop your runestone, either fire or lightning. Then you pop your concession rebuttal. This will last for 3 minutes, as long as you're in combat. So just before the fight starts, you would do your runestone, CNR. When you use Writ, it's instant tier 3. Which means you can go into your big skills right away. Another important thing to keep in mind, Rite of Lightning is not the hardest hitting skill. If you have multiple RKs in your group, I would suggest to appoint one RK to keep up Writs and the other ones ignore Writ. That would increase DPS of your group. And finally, a final tip for the Rite of Lightning. The Abyss set is still available. You can get it with motes if you've done the Abyss deed. It increases Rite of Lightning by 5%, which makes it possible for you to get 30. So I equip my set. You can see that every tier has 10% mitigation instead of 5. Which is pretty powerful. You have a lot of RKs. You do lose a lot of stats, and I would not suggest this unless you have all the best gear and really good stats. And it might be worth using this set. Number 4. Don't trade closing remarks. Another tip for improving your DPS in your trait line. Obviously you want your Thunderous Words and your Harsh Debate, as they both have a chance to proc a really good buff on you. Every lightning skill you use, 15% chance to get 15% tech damage, and also 20% Fury of Storm critical hit chance. And this 15% chance, with the amount of skills you spam, it's pretty much going to be 100% uptime, because it has a 20-second duration and it refreshes itself. That's why it's important that you don't trade the next one in the line, Closing Remarks. It gives you a 5% higher chance to proc the buffs, but when they both proc, they turn into one buff that will not get refreshed. It will just tick out and die. And then most likely you'll have a second, two or three downtime with the buffs. So trading Closing Remarks will fuse these buffs into one for 20 seconds and will just tick down, cannot be refreshed. But if you just keep these without Closing Remarks, they will both keep refreshing. We can have a look. These are the ones that we're looking for. Thunderous Words, Harsh Debate. You can see they just keep refreshing. It's 11 seconds now, but they will go up. See, 20 again. And they both refreshed again. So my advice for an arcade, don't trade Closing Remarks. And number 5, AoE damage. As a yellow RK, you don't have a lot of AoE skills, but at the same time they're probably your most hard-hitting skills. Of course you have your Lightning Runestone that keeps stunning enemies nearby, and you have your Fire Runestone. They don't do too much damage, but your two big AoE skills as a yellow RK are Vivid Imagery and Static Search. And these skills should always be used every time of cooldown, even when you're single target DPS, as they can hit really hard. And you can see that Vivid has a 10-second daze as well, which is pretty nice during a fight. Another thing worth noting is Vivid has max targets 8, Static Search has no max targets, so it hits a lot of enemies. Static Search, however, is frontal, and Vivid is 360 AoE around you. They both have a 5-meter range. And as I said before, animation cancelling Vivid and then Static Surge is a really nice combo. Static Surge has a 10% chance to proc every time you use the lightning skill. I'm just gonna keep hitting this dummy until I get the proc. Of course, with the raid set for arcades, you can increase the proc chance to 20%. Hopefully one day I'll get a proc. Show you my little burst rotation. There we go. I would always Vivid, animation cancel, and then search like this. A pretty nice combo to get off real quick. Just keep in mind, when using Vivid, it's 360 AoE, and Static Search has a frontal, so you need to be looking at the target in front of you. And it's a pretty short range, so make sure you're close.